Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, checking back in on the cryptocurrency space. Hope you're doing well. So the Bitcoin bulls just showed up out of nowhere, and it's the kind of news where you scramble and try and find news, because there was definitely a bit of a short squeeze that occurred. And why we can assume that a bunch of shorts were covering, in my opinion, is because we had the bears in complete control. We were heading down to test our recent low of $9,071, and then out of nowhere in a half an hour, we go 10% plus, and in the end, the size of this move ended up being, at least to the initial consolidation, 15%. So you don't go 15% in an hour and a half out of nowhere unless you're forcing a lot of shorts to cover as well. So at this point, when we last left off, I had a position in Bitcoin with an average in the 9,200s. I sold a third of that in the upper 9,000 range, and I'm still holding that right now, because now we're getting the bounce that I was anticipating as far as looking for a break of the pattern of a lower high every day. That's the real bounce that I'm looking for. So anything, let's see, anything under 13,200 is just a lower high. We're not changing this daily trend anytime soon. So now I'm going into protection mode and scaling out into strength. So I will exit another third of my position if we lose the hourly uptrend. Right now we're looking for a healthy hourly higher low to form. We're just starting consolidation after this very significant bull move. Again, the total move was 16% in 3 or 4 hours. So we're going to look for an hourly higher low. If we lose that hourly higher low pattern, again, I'm just going to exit, take some more off the table. But this is a very notable move. And again, just looking at all the different time frames that we've been looking at the past couple weeks, the 3-day time frame, we can see clearly anything under 13,200 will be a lower high. The daily time frame, have to be cautious of bear flags out there, and Bitcoin itself not as significant a threat of being a bear flag because of the size of the daily move. But we'll look at Ethereum in just a second, which is still a possible bear flag. Bottom line is the bulls do need to be protective, and the more space that we get, the bigger this move before we top out, we have the more space to form the higher low and the higher high, because that's what we have to see the momentum shift to the bulls. Top out, form the higher low, and then see continuation. That would be notable. Otherwise, this is just the lower high cooling things off, and we were watching the 12-hour time frame. The 12-hour chart, you could call this a trend change. I don't like how unclear it is, just in the sense that the same candlestick saw the low and the high. So again, I'm just always shuffling around what time frame stands out the most clear for that trend change. Clearly, $11,080 is the next most important resistance that we're going to be watching. And the bulls are hoping that on these longer term time frames, the 6-hour, the 12-hour, that we can form an inverse head and shoulders pattern where we have the left shoulder, the head, we can't break $11,080, we pull back for a higher low and then see continuation. So that would be notable for follow through if that were to take place. But now let's look at some of the names that, like Ethereum, this is a potential bear flag on the daily. So I'd say the bulls have to get over 240 if we're going to start negating the bear flag possibility. And if we look at ETH BTC, it too looks like a bear flag. It's a weak bounce on the daily. We know that we're remaining skeptical of these altcoins as long as their Bitcoin pairings are in daily downtrends, because they're just short-term bounces to cool off RSI. And if we drop back down and break 0.02, that's going to be just another leg down. And that could be a scenario where Ethereum sees another leg down as well. So we do have some space to work with in the sense that we have bounced about 10, 20%, 15% from that low. But again, this isn't enough at this point for the bulls to be confident. 12-hour time frame is the same thing. Bulls are hoping for an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Anything under 235.87 would be a lower high, and then the bulls would have to hold the low of 190 and then change that 12-hour trend in order to really have some breathing room and not be a potential bear flag. LTC, not a potential bear flag. Significant move and huge follow through up to 105. So again, in the video yesterday, I talked about how I was bummed that I didn't get a position, but that's just fine, because the next time I will get a position. And that's just the way you have to look at it, because these trades are going to continue presenting themselves as far as opportunity goes, whether it's in crypto or whatever sector we're trading, hundreds of times if we do this long enough. So some of the times we're going to get stopped out, some of the times we're going to win, some of the times we're going to get the fills we want. We just have to, again, just look to the next trade every single time. And here in this instance, the bulls have a lot of space now where we could potentially form a daily high or low and try and change this trend. The weekly consolidation has been much more significant than on some of the other coins. And we also have to watch out for the head and shoulders pattern. You can definitely view this on the weekly chart as a left shoulder ahead. We held the support level, which was 64.86. We held 76.63, but if we top out here and form a lower high on the weekly and then roll over, that would be a red flag for not only Litecoin, but the sector as a whole. So that's something we'll keep an eye on. But first things first, can the bulls change the daily trend? And that's what we're going to be watching into the weekend over the next few days. We look at the 4-hour time frame, easily holding the 4-hour uptrend. Support is 87.01, another higher low at 89.01, and a bull cross of the exponential moving averages. So Litecoin standing out, but even with it standing out, again, this Litecoin BTC pairing chart, it's still a downtrend as far as I'm concerned. Anything under 10.988 is just a lower high, and we're going to have to see a clear daily trend change on this as well. And if we see a trend change on the daily for a Bitcoin pairing of Litecoin and a US dollar pairing, that's when the moves get real significant. But still have to see the higher low and higher high on the daily for these Litecoin bulls. XRP, very weak bounce, potential bear flag as well. So ETH and XRP are in the same boat in that regard. And again, looking at the 12-hour time frame, do we have the inverse head and shoulders setup? It's a different setup, so not the same in that sense, but we do have a break of some of the 12-hour lower highs. We just need more daily follow through than we have currently. And we also have the daily exponential resistances to be watching, which have given the bulls some trouble, and those are going to be in play the next couple of days as well. Bears that are looking to enter short on XRP or any of these names, you have multiple scenarios. Number one, you just scale in, which is a higher risk scenario. Number two, you wait for a loss of a trend, whether it's a loss of the hourly uptrend and you're being a bit more aggressive, a loss of the 4-hour uptrend and you're being a bit more conservative. Those are what the bears are looking for as far as a daily lower high being set. So currently, just want to compare, it just came to my mind, the MJ sector today, we headed into today saying, looking for bearish entries. And the reason was the bears had control. We got our significant bounce on the, that's actually the hourly, but the daily, bears in complete control of the trend. We got the bounce where we got a shift and we're just looking for a daily lower high. Third day of the bounce, we say, okay, we're not looking for any bullish entries at this point. That would be too late and that would be chasing. So we're either not making entries or only looking for bearish entries. And we're going to get to that point here in the cryptocurrency space if we're not already there, where bullish entries at these levels, now that we've bounced 15% from the lows, are not ideal. So we're either looking bearish or patiently waiting for a better bullish entry. So I like this style of eliminating one direction. I'm personally only trading the cryptocurrency space bullish because I'm on Coinbase and because it's been working really well for me. But if you're looking in both directions, being able to eliminate, if you're heading into every day and you're saying, am I looking bearish? Am I looking bullish? And it gets really confusing and you don't know which direction to look, just keep it simple and eliminate one half of the equation and say, okay, if we bounced a few days and we're just looking for a lower high, I'm not going to be looking for any bullish entries. I'm either not trading, which is entirely possible, or I'm just waiting for a bearish entry. Binance, solid little bounce. We broke resistance of 29.58. I take that back. We haven't broken it yet. That's a key short-term resistance. The daily exponential resistance has rejected the last half dozen plus attempts. That's going to be in play as well. We have a key resistance test, so that's much easier. If you're shorting, you have a key top fishing play where you put your stop above 29.60 and hope we reject and have to pull back from there. So a much more comfortable scenario when there is resistance to be playing off of. But it's the same story for Binance. We have to see a daily trend change. We had a significant bull move here, but not really as significant as other names. Bulls were holding on much better. We did pull back, but we didn't even lose the 12-hour higher low pattern that has been intact. So we pretty much just have this battle in the mid 29s right now. And that is going to be key for the next 12 hours or so. But again, certainly don't like any bullish entries at this point, knowing we're just looking for a daily lower high. LINK USD, anything under 343, just a lower high. We already have an upper wick forming. So we're watching the hourly uptrend, which there was a bit of a bear spike here. So I need to find a time frame that's better, but we have a 4-hour uptrend that's clear. 235 and then another one here at 239. So if we lose the 4-hour uptrend, we're confident the daily lower high has been set. Have to change these daily trends for a significant shift in momentum. And while yes, the bulls have definitely been impressive today, that's not enough. So we have to remain skeptical of the bulls in the cryptocurrency space. The burden of proof is on the bulls as far as the daily time frame is concerned, and we'll continue to monitor one day at a time. There's a lot going on. I've been watching the bull miners, the precious metals space, gold, silver, and the miners have been going crazy. So never a dull moment when you're trading multiple sectors. So my game plan, I'm not planning on adding anything to these cryptocurrencies. I will look to add Litecoin at some point, probably when I look for a daily high or low. Because I already have a Bitcoin position, I will patiently wait for when we top out, and when we look to form a daily high or low, I will potentially start scaling in. It depends on what that consolidation looks like, but we'll get to a point where we're convinced that we're confident our lower high on the daily has been set, and then that high or low is when I will look to scale in. So we'll certainly update day by day. Hope you have a good day. I'm dripping sweat, but could be worse. So another raised bed update. We've got 2 more, as you can see. The path that's coming together. Have to finish adding topsoil and manure to these guys, and then we're going to start on the next row. And we'll probably do the same thing where we pull out the path, put a bunch of mulch in the path, and then here we'll do the next row. And going to leave a diagonal from the corner of that bed where the wood's lined up and then to this tree to be able to have a grass path to walk along the pond, and then do more raised beds over here in this spot that's nicely in the sun right now. We planted the first fig trees. My buddy Casey got me these. And there's 2 of them we put in this open space, and we planted them together, so we'll see how these go over the next 5+ years. Doubt I'll get any fruit for the first 3 years. Patience.